Yeah, I think, people are getting a bit fed up of this merry-go-round of prime ministers, aren't they? We saw it under the Tories. Now Labour, that's 7 prime ministers we'll have had in a decade. That's not good for the country. It's why nothing ever works, I think, if you don't have that stability. Wow. And I think it shows that our political system is broken, quite frankly.
Welcome back to Reed's British Takes. So you've just heard it. A party leader, live on air, calling British politics broken. 7 prime ministers in a decade. Now, none of us are shocked the country's in a mess, but there's a reason it keeps happening, and it's not the one the politicians want to talk about. So let's watch the whole thing together, and then we'll get into what's really going on. Let me know where you're watching from in the comments.
You watched, and indeed I saw you challenge him regularly in the House of Commons. Were you and your colleagues surprised by the speed at which the Starmer administration seemed to fall apart?
Yeah, totally. I mean, take you back to that moment when Rachel Reeves and Keir Starmer were arguing to get rid of the winter fuel allowance, and then very quickly their first budget, which was a total disaster for growth, for business, for jobs and for people. And there was just mistake after mistake. And I really didn't expect that. Poor judgment. And I think, he didn't really recognise what Trump was about. Before Trump inauguration, it was quite clear that he was going to damage our country with trade tariffs and create a trade war. And so I called for a new relationship with Europe, over a customs union. I thought it was a positive development, give us a stronger hand to deal with Donald Trump, and he didn't take that idea forward. And, I think, people are getting a bit fed up of this merry-go-round of prime ministers, aren't they? We saw it under the Tories. Now Labour, that's 7 prime ministers we'll have had in a decade. That's not good for the country. It's why nothing ever works, I think, if you don't have that stability. Wow. And I think it shows that our political system is broken, quite frankly.
So, Ed, you say it's a country that doesn't work. I'd just take you back to his speech less than 24 hours ago. And is this the Britain you recognise? An economy that is stronger, growing faster than our peers, wages rising faster than inflation, an infrastructure being built, and an end to austerity. Is that the UK you recognise?
No. I like to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's done some good things, right? Let's have some balance in this conversation. I think the free school meals, which he nicked from us, really going hard on things like solar power. There are a number of things he did well. He was right, by the way, on not backing Trump on the idiotic war in Iran, where the Tories and Reform wanted that war. I think the Prime Minister's right to keep us out of that damaging war. So it's not a completely negative thing, but on the big stuff, on getting our economy going, on sorting out relationship with Europe, on sorting out social care to back the NHS. You and I have talked about that a lot. It's an issue dear to my heart. It's just failed, and that's been really disappointing.
Can I ask you, I know you've already given your views on this, how significant is it that this would appear, this transfer of power would be without a general election, Sir Ed?
Well, it's happened quite a few times before, so I don't think anyone would be surprised at it. Listen, I think people want to give whoever the new Prime Minister, presumably Andy Burnham, give them a chance, but they'll be very impatient. I think the window for any new Prime Minister is a very, very short one. And if they don't grasp the scale of the change we need, publish a defence investment plan which is going to secure our country, get our growth strategy, I think a closer trading relationship with Europe to sort out the mess of the decade post-Brexit, I think people will want a general election if he's not up for the change, the real change that we need.
Right. Let's talk about what's really going on here. 7 prime ministers in a decade. And every time one falls, we're told the same story. It was him. It was her. Bad judgment. Wrong calls. A disappointing leader who just didn't deliver. And then we get a new one, full of promise, and for a few months everyone's hopeful again. And then that one falls too. And we never stop to ask the obvious question. If you change the manager 7 times and the team keeps losing, at some point, maybe it isn't the manager. Because here's the part the politicians won't say out loud. Every single one of them inherits the same broken machine, the same problems that have been kicked down the road for 20 years. Social care nobody will fix, a health service stretched to breaking, an economy that's been flat since before some of you could vote, housing a generation can't afford. None of that is Starmer's fault, or Johnson's, or trusses. They all walked into a building that was already on fire and then got blamed for the smoke. And the reason it keeps happening, the bit that genuinely matters, is this. Our politics has stopped being about governing and started being about surviving. A modern Prime Minister doesn't get the years it takes to actually fix something hard. They get months. A few bad headlines, a dip in the polls, a couple of nervous MPs worried about their own seats, and the knives are out. So nobody plans for 10 years from now. They plan for the next 10 weeks. Because that's all the time they think they've got. And that's the trap. You can't fix a country in 10 weeks. The big problems, the ones that actually matter, take years, sometimes decades. But our system now punishes anyone who tries to think that far ahead and rewards whoever can survive till Friday. So the hard stuff never gets done. It just gets passed to the next one, and the next one, 7 times over. So when a politician stands there and tells you the system is broken, he's right. But he's only telling you half of it. Because he's part of that system. They all are. The revolving door doesn't spin by itself. They're the ones who keep walking through it, and every one of them would rather you blame the last person than looked at the machine they all agreed to keep running. That's the bit nobody wants to say. It's not that we keep picking the wrong people. It's that we've built a system where even the right person wouldn't get the time to prove it. So that's where I land on this. Don't mourn Starmer, and don't celebrate him either. Just ask yourself who benefits from a country that can never look further ahead than the next crisis. Because that's the real story here. Not who's leaving, but why it keeps happening. Tell me what you think in the comments. Are we picking the wrong leaders, or have we built a system that breaks all of them? I genuinely want to know where you stand. That's where I am on it. See you tomorrow.